Magnus here. In today's episode, I wanted to try out using a camera phone rather than a DSLR to record myself in a similar format of how I do my show to prove the fact that you really don't need an expensive camera if you're already using your very expensive smartphone for most of your video. So watch and enjoy how I set this whole setup for you guys. I used the recently released Samsung Note 8 for this trial. I haven't had much time with the phone, but I wanted to see what features that the phone can offer that would benefit my specific shot needed for my setup. In looking through the settings, I made sure to set up the camera to record in UHD quality since I wanted as much detail as possible. When recording in UHD using the back camera, it records at about 48 megabits per second in 30 frames per second. I also took advantage of the phone's ability to shoot in Pro mode, so that I may have full control over the shutter, ISO, color temperature, and other settings. Also, when setting the color profile, I turned down contrast, saturation, and shadows so that I can get as much dynamic range out of the camera as possible. Since I usually stand in front of a window and it's still bright out, I don't always like the window to be too blown out in the shot. It's no replacement for a log type of setup, but it's at least workable, which is nice. In current situations, I work in a very tight space since I'm pretty much packing my apartment as we speak, and I'm moving from apartment to a new space. I'll have a new quote-unquote set to work with in just a few short weeks. In any case, I set up one tripod with a phone holder and pointed the phone towards the window. I have one light that is pointed upward and away from my face in order to get a soft light that isn't too harsh. I do have more lights to set up, but one light is most of what I need in such a tight space. I also record audio to a Zoom H4n rather than directly to the phone so that I can get the cleanest audio possible, since a phone's audio would sound like this. Now, one thing I can't stand is vertical shots when using a cell phone, because that's the easy way to actually record versus holding it horizontally and getting a good true 16:9 format. Getting the perfect angle for my shot can be a bit difficult since I want to use the back camera and won't be able to see myself when speaking with the camera. What I did was basically set markers on where I should stand and how tall I would be when compared to the blinds behind me. This way I could center myself as much as possible and make sure that I get the right height without cutting off my head or aiming the camera too high. From then on, it's just trial and error, hitting record and making sure I get the right shot. One thing I didn't have to worry about was the autofocus. It was spot on for the whole shoot, which is a lifesaver in most conditions. When looking at the footage and comparing it to other times that I have used this shot with a DSLR, the most glaring difference is still the amount of detail and depth of field that you're able to capture with a DSLR when compared to the phone. Also, a DSLR has a much easier time picking up light in these scenarios thanks to the much larger sensors when compared to the smaller sensors on a phone. However, to be quite honest, the footage is not bad at all, and the camera that records this much detail would have been crazy expensive many years ago. And there you have it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and as always, like, share. You can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys later.